Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. What's up? What's going on? So let's talk about this Tekashi 69 situation, DJ Academics, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. Everything is just out in chaos. We even got Kanye West with the chaos. It's just like going down. So yeah, this Tekashi 69 situation is out there. Like, whoa. Um, Yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to be free, but it seems like they're trying to make sure they distance Tekashi from the situation, saying that he's not a gang member. His lawyers are coming out saying that, he's a good kid. Everybody's saying he's a good kid. He's this, he's that. What do you guys feel about the situation? Do you think he should be free? Do you think he should pay pay for some consequences? What do you guys take on a situation with Tekashi? Because it seems like there's a bunch of people that, hey, what's up? King, what's up, Night Shane? What's up? How you guys doing? His face tells it all. Yes, his face does tell it all. Thank you guys for joining the chat. It's just like, yeah, when they had Tekashi going to court, he looked like, he looked like he just lost it. He just looked like everything was just gone. Like he looked like he was defeated. He just looked like like, damn, like I wouldn't want to be in a situation. I wouldn't want to be locked up. And then on top of that, facing racketeering charges, facing all types of charges. And then you got people that's supposed to be in your crew that allegedly want to put a hit out on you and want to kill you. Then you're finding out that your people that you're rolling with, they're taking your money that you're making and stealing it from you too as well. And then funneling it and to the drug game and trying to clean the dirty money with the clean money. Like that shit is crazy. Like for real. That's just like, yo, imagine the people that you roll with, you down when you doing all this dirt with, and then, they put a head out on you. And then they're also saying that, oh, they're giving another promoter, like if Tekashi doesn't do the show, this is his mom address. Like his mom address? I was like, shit. Like, he knew it was over for a long time. When Tekashi did Dummy Boy album, on the album, the album came out early because people leaked it, but he was also talking in that on the album saying that F Treyway, talking about, how he was really talking about how, like shit is hitting the fan for him. It's like he knew when Tekashi got robbed and he was kidnapped and his jewelry was stolen. That's when Tekashi knew that the shit was over. That's when he realized it was the inside gang. That's when he realized that, people was coming after him, his own people. Because when he was on the Breakfast Club, he said, I say F you, I say suck my penis, I say let my nug sag, I'm a rainbow kid or whatever. But nobody could touch me. Only way somebody could touch me if they're in my circle. So when he got touched, when he got robbed, that's when he knew the jig was up. That's when he knew they was coming after him. God is trying to tell him that jail is the best place for him. We gotta do better and listen to God's voice. Yes, you are right, because actually, thank you for saying that, because in one of the posts, they're saying that, when Treyway, like, Shotty and his and Murder, Mall Murder, whatever his name is, and other people, they were saying that, they was on a phone conversation with a co-defendant, another co-defendant, and then it was Mall. Let me see what his name is. I want to get his name because it was Shotty, and I think it was Murder something more, whatever. I don't know why I can't find his name right now. But when they were on the phone talking about, Tekashi 69 is totally disrespecting us. He's saying F Treyway. He's trying to distance himself from us. And Shotty was like, I'm going to take care of the situation. But at the end of the conversation, with the conversation being recorded, they were also talking about that Tekashi could not pay his security. And now we know that Tekashi owes his security $100,000. So right now they knew. So when the FBI and, Homeland Security and all these people was watching him and they was listening and had wiretaps and phone taps going on, they knew that, the FBI knew that he didn't have protection from his security anymore, because he owed them $100,000. So this was all going on. So that's why the FBI actually picked up Tekashi, because he couldn't afford to pay for his security anymore. And then the FBI is also listening to a wiretap where he got Shotty and the other members allegedly on the phone talking about, we're going to get him, we're going to hurt him, we're gonna violate him super bad. And it was like, oh, but he can't be around his security forever. And it was like, he's protected by his security. But then the FBI know that he can't afford to pay security, and they want and now they want their money. So he wasn't protected because his security is like, you owe us $100,000. We need our money. And these are like retired cops, retired agents, and people like that. They're not the street people anymore. So that's why the FBI actually picked him up, because they knew that his security was going to be leaving, because anybody that had any type of conversation with Tekashi, with Treyway, with, Shotty, all that shit was tapped. So you know how much information they must got on Tekashi. So if the FBI did not act king, if the FBI did not pick up Tekashi, he would have been dead, because he wouldn't have had his security anymore, because he couldn't afford to pay for them. So I was just like, damn, like, yo. And that's just like crazy. Like, they had an opportunity. And to me, it feels like this was like Shotty's first time actually managing somebody. And it seemed like Shotty wanted to be Suge Knight. It seemed like Shotty wanted to be Death Row. And it's like, but he didn't move like Death Row. It took them a long time to take down Suge Knight. They took down Suge Knight when he was old and blind and feeble-minded. And so he wanted to be like Suge Knight for number one. They didn't pay attention to Bobby Smurda, Little Bootsy, Shine, that got arrested for Puff Daddy. It's like they didn't watch the Wire TV show either, that they could be wiretaps or whatever. It's just like, damn, they was moving all sloppily. And then Shotty's supposed to be the OG. He's supposed to be the one that's in control. He's supposed to be the one making sure everything is in order. He's supposed to make sure, but Shotty's out here actually pulling up on people and shooting at them. So it's just like, what's going on with that situation? Like, he's pulling up and he's shooting, because allegedly with the Barcade, incident that happened where, 6ix9ine Treyway and allegedly, 6ix9ine Shotty and the rest of them, was at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. When the shots were fired, they was fired at Casanova, because Casanova was on Joe Budden's podcast talking shit about, Tekashi, and just talking about all that shit that he was having going on with Tekashi when they wasn't cool. And so then that's when that Barclay, the story gets crazy every day. Yeah, every day I just stopped talking about Tekashi for like 3 or 4 days, almost a week. So I said, let me just do it live. I'm not even gonna put a video together about this shit, because it's just too much. And and then on top of that, you do have Joe Buttons, Maul, Rory, they're down in Academics and talking shit about Academics. I know it's too much, like, yo. And then you got the shit about, on Joe Budden's podcast, you got Maul, Rory, they're talking about DJ Academics. He has a part in this. He's not innocent. He's releasing videos and stuff that could possibly convict, help convict, Tekashi69 or whatever with that situation. But Joe Budden is forgetting that he have a pull-up show when I think Casanova might have been his second guest or his first guest. Mano was there, and all of them guys were there. And DJ Academics actually discusses this too as well. He was like, everybody's throwing shots at me. Casanova, Joe. He don't say Joe name. He doesn't say Casanova name, and he doesn't say Wayno's name either. But he was mentioning that he was talking about all these old cats coming after me because of what I'm doing, but they be doing the same shit that I'm doing, because Joe had, Casanova on there talking shit. And then that's when Shotty was at the Barcade Center, allegedly TMC footage, and shot up, where Casanova was at. I thought at first they was shooting at the boxer, Adrian Broner, but no, because Adrian Broner and Tekashi was going at it, and he was also at the Barcade Center that day. But no, it was Casanova. So right after that interview that Joe had with Casanova talking about Tekashi and his crew, that's when Shotty saw them at the Barcade Center and started running up shots. So, and then on top of that, there was some Shotty and 6ix9ine and the crew was riding in a truck, or whatever, and a car bumped them. A car did something, and they pulled a gun out on them. Like, Shotty was wilding. Like, you think Shotty would be the one that's moving with the knowledge, moving with the wisdom? We can't just be pulling guns out like this in New York and shit like that. And even Tekashi, when Tekashi got arrested, he had guns at his crib. He need guns at his crib because people are trying to assassinate him. They are trying to kill him. But you in New York City, the gun laws. They locked up Lil Wayne in New York. You know what I mean? Corey Guns got lucky that he didn't face like mad time when he got caught with a gun. But I also think Corey Guns didn't have a record either. So, and then you also know Tekashi 69 is also on probation and shit like that. So it was just like, it's a whole messed up situation. You know what? If I'm making 60 grand a show, I'm making 80 grand, I'm making 100 grand a show. Like all y'all dudes doing all this crazy shit. Nah, I can't do it. Like, you know what? I'm a bow out. You know, you guys can extort me, but I don't want nothing to do with this. But I think 6ix9ine wanted to be on so bad. And, you know, and this is the image that he got on with, like being tough, not, you know, and people fearing him and people respecting him, and then being a clown too as well with all the shit. Because every time you turn around, 6ix9ine was beefing, arguing with somebody, you know, and all this other stuff, making fun of people, threatening. You know, he got arrested here and there, even though he was on probation, but he didn't get locked up. And it's just like, damn, when you making money like that, you know, Shadi could have took this organization to a whole nother level if he would have kept the street shit out. Because, you know, he signed Alexis Sky, he signed, you know, Fetty Wap, he got, you know, Skinny from the Nine. They call him Snitch from the Nine. And supposedly Skinny father got arrested. Skinny from the Nine father got arrested. Supposedly Skinny from the Nine is a snitch too as well. I don't think they put Skinny from the Nine and a lot of information, but everybody's calling him a snitch. There's videotape of Skinny from the Nine that's signed the Treyway out here snitching. And so, you know, he's going to fall quickly. He ain't going to do no prison time like that. He was in juvie or some shit like that. So, you know, you have all that going on, and it's just like you think that he would have put. He got Skinny from the Nine, Tekashi 69, Alexis Sky, Fetty Wap, and probably more people was going to sign to, you know, Treyway Entertainment with Scotty or whatever, because they're seeing in a year how far, you know, 6ix9ine went, and that shit ain't gonna happen now. And you also got you know, Shadi on Love and Hip Hop. He was on the first episode of Love and Hip Hop New York. He was also on the last episode of Growing Up Hip Hop. Like, he could have really made a career. He could have really been out here doing the right thing if he would have just did the right motherfucking thing. And he wasn't so sloppy. Talking on the phone. Who talks on the phone about committing crimes? What the fuck's wrong with people? Excuse my language. I don't mean to, you know, offend anybody. It's a lot of snitches. Let me tell you, it's mad. They have so many informants. Everybody is going to start informing, because who's going to do 8 years? Who's going to do 5 years? Who's going to do 10 years? Who's going to do time? Nobody wants to be locked up. And if you can get a deal to get out, why wouldn't you? Like, you know, back in the day, you had that thing where, and sometimes not even back in, you have more stand-up guys back in the day would try to, they didn't want to be known as a snitch. They'll do their time. You know, you probably, people know people that are just doing 20 years to life. They ain't gonna tell. They down with it for life. And but today, you got too much luxury, too much fun out here to be like locked up. Like, it's too much going on to be locked up. And the Tekashi 69 album just dropped. It's #1. Imagine if Tekashi 69 was actually online promoting his album. He's being promoted, you know what I mean? Because every blog site, website, you know, blogger on YouTube and everywhere is talking about Tekashi 69. People that normally don't talk about rap shit is talking about Tekashi 69. So he is getting promotion, but it's not the right promotion, and he don't know where his money's coming in, and then his money is being frozen. So you got that too. Tekashi money is being frozen. So Tekashi got like 1 point something million in the bank, but that's frozen. The security guards want their money. The promoters that he canceled the deal with because he was getting robbed, he was supposed to get 3.6 million, but Shani and them took that money and only gave him, I think, like 80 grand of that money or something like that. So all of Tekashi's money is on hold. He can't, it's frozen. So now they're saying his mom has to go out here and get a job. You know, his baby's mother's not living like the baby mother was on IG bragging about, I pay $1,000 to get my nails done. I pay $2,000 to get my hair done. And she was like, I live this good life. I got money and all. She ain't got shit now. Not a goddamn thing. You know, you should have been doing all them thousands of dollars, saving that shit, putting that money away, burying it in the ground, doing something with it. Because right there, I hope they have a plan where they had some money somewhere in somebody's name that's not connected. But if they talked about it on the phone, it seemed like they was moving really, you know, sluggish and sloppy. So they probably don't got no money put nowhere. And whoever has the money, they have to get somebody to front the money now to get them out of jail. They're not going to get bail. Tekashi's denied bail. He won't go before a judge until I think September. or October, he won't see a judge since then. And then you got Shotty in the courtroom talking about Trey Wade forever. We ain't weak. We don't fall. I think Shotty thinks it's over for him for some reason. Because for him to say that in the courtroom, they already document that shit down. So, Tekashi and them, they just fucked, man. They had a chance to really do something. They had a chance to really be a young entrepreneur company coming on and taking over like Puffy did. Even the Puffy was Puffy got his label was called Dirty Money for a time. Puffy hands is not clean, but you ain't never seen Puffy caught up. He got caught up once at the nightclub, and Shine took that rap. And with Death Row, it took a long time for them to bring down Suge Knight, but it just seemed like they didn't have the guidance. Like, so who's in charge? Who is over Shotty? Shotty in charge? Who's in charge? Where was the OG at? You don't pull guns out on people. You don't make threatening. You don't say you got 30 packs on somebody. Somebody recorded, Tekashi69 saying that he had 30 packs. He got a 30 pack, on what's his name, the Chicago rapper, and everything like that. And that was recorded. But before Akademiks released that video, TMZ had another website had it. And DJ Akademiks was like, well, why shouldn't I not release it? You know what I mean? Everybody else can release information about people, but I can't. Yeah, I'm his friend. We close, we cool, but I still got a job to do. Only thing is with Akademiks in this situation with Tekashi, he became really close. They became really good friends. And for a long, Joe did tell him, and a lot of people, and even Wayno told him, like, you need to separate yourself, like you're too close to the situation. But him and Tekashi69 became friends. And if it wasn't for Akademiks, Tekashi wouldn't be where he was, because DJ Akademiks actually humanized Tekashi, because people was like, oh, he's a rapist, he's this, he's that. He did that interview with him in that small Spanish restaurant, and from then on, his career just boomed. People was featuring Tekashi. And on top of that, but the first interview that Tekashi did was with This Is 50, the dude from This Is 50, but they're not a big blog site or website, but that dude was there in court with him. So I don't know if 50 Cent is kind of close to the situation, because the dude from This Is 50 was there at court with Tekashi too as well when he was denied bail. And then now we have the situation with the confidential informant. It could have been a security guard, it could have been anybody that got caught doing something, and they was like, I got the drop on this situation. But once they robbed Tekashi and they kidnapped him, that was just that took the cover off of everything that they were doing, and then on top of that was wiretap too, probably too as well. And the feds just let it go until they realized Tekashi was in danger and he was going to be killed. So they picked him up and brought him in, and they questioned him one time, and they asked him that there's a hit put out on you, and we're going to protect you. Tekashi said he signed his papers. No, I don't want protection. Tekashi was supposed to go to, Connecticut, to the casino, and the cops picked him up before, the feds picked him up before he can go, because they felt like, he was going to be in danger, and other civilians were going to be in danger in the situation. So, snitches, you are gossiping. Yes, I am gossiping. What do people do on YouTube? They gossip. Your boy grab your popcorn and hush. She's the best. Yes, I'm gossiping like it ain't nobody's business. Because I didn't talk about the story for a minute. So now we have that situation where they picked him up from Connecticut. And, they picked him up before he can go there, because the hit was put out. And this is the hit conversation. This is the wiretap conversation that actually made them pick him up. Somebody named Jones, he goes, he's trying to dry snitch. He's trying to dry snitch at the same time, homie, but he keeps saying, fuck Treyway. That N-word, Treyway ain't no N-word. Treyway, F that. And so Jones is like, he's talking to, Shotty, and is an informant, and Shotty's like, I'm gonna feed him though. So when he says I'm gonna feed him though, I believe he's gonna feed him with them bullets. And the FBI is listening to this. And so then Jones says, yo, what you doing? Damn, I don't even want to even talk on the phone, homie. We got to meet up to talk. So now Jones wants to be careful not talking on the phone. You motherfuckers been talking on the phone, been acting wild. Why would you have guns on you in New York? This is the toughest state on guns. They arrested Tekashi with guns. So no matter what, if he snitches or whatever, he's still on probation, and he got that case. And then he was arrested with guns too as well. So I don't, unless he brings down a big fish, Tekashi seems like he's going to get time. And so Jones says he don't want to be talking on the phone. And then the individual that everybody believes is a snitch says, Hernandez is definitely humiliating us, basically. And Jordan says, that's right. Then Jones says, that's what Hernandez is trying to do. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to separate himself. So basically Jones is like, oh, he's trying to separate himself. He's trying to move away from us. So did they not listen to Tekashi's new album, Dummy Boy? Because he was definitely dissing all y'all on Dummy Boy and saying that he got caught up and he's in a bad situation and all he wanted to do was feed his family and everything's out of control. He says this on Dummy Boy on the album. And then the individuals, they won't say the name. That's cool. Now he gotta be violated. And that individual says that. I don't know if that's the snitch, but they won't say the name. And then Jones says, yeah, super violated, super duper. Ain't no much he could really do unless he runs around with 100 armed securities all day. So they're thinking that he's going to have security on him. But now we know that Tekashi wasn't paying the security. He didn't have the money because Tekashi was being robbed from Jump Street. They was robbing this boy blind from Jump Street. So they were never loyal to Tekashi. This is what it looks like to us. But we don't really know exactly. Exact. And the individual says he ain't got enough money for that. So they know he ain't got enough money. Why? Because they're taking his money. They're telling him, you know, one show, like when Tekashi was on the Breakfast Club, he was like, that I got paid 60 grand up front for, like, you know, and then I'm supposed to get the rest of the money at the end. So then he called the promoter people and asked them, what's going on? Why you guys only paying me 60 grand? Because he had a thought, he had a question. He was curious. He was like, no, we gave your peoples 80 grand. And then altogether for the 15 shows, you're going to get 3 point something million. So if they robbed him like that, that's crazy. They should at least gave him 200 grand. So he wouldn't call, you know, the people asking why you only giving me 60 when he says he usually gets 100 grand for a show and you're only going to give him 60 grand. Like, they got greedy. They got too greedy and they got like out of control with the situation. I was like, damn, like, you know, when you watch these mafia stories and these stories or whatever, you just be like, oh shit. You don't know how it's going to end, but we're watching like a criminal organization crumble right in front of us, and we get all the details because we online and shit. So he said, yes, super duper violate you. Then the individual said he ain't got enough money for that. Jones says that's a fact. He just canceled all his shows. The individual says, and he ain't a gang member no more. So basically, a lot of people saying since this individual said that Tekashi ain't a gang member no more, that means that, you know, that they're gonna try, his attorneys are gonna try to use that to say that he wasn't a gang member or he wasn't a part of the gang, but he said he ain't a gang member no more. But that's recently. So I don't know how a lot of people think that this is going to help him. It goes, nah, he ain't nothing. That's what. And then the individual says, that's what Jordan needs to make sure he do. Jones, yeah, just tell that end that he's not a gang member no more. He's kicked out the whip. He was never a gang member. So now that part right there saying he was never a gang member, this is where a lot of people are getting, where they're realizing, okay, that maybe this, you know, this confidential informant, this wiretapping might actually help Tekashi, because it goes, he was never a gang member. So basically, you know, they're getting, you know, Tekashi with the racketeering situation because, you know, organized crime, and they're hitting with the RICO Act because, you know, it's a conspiracy. So now if they're saying that he's not a gang member, he was never a gang member, excuse me, then Tekashi is saying, then Tekashi is saying that Treyway is just a word. You know, I just made that word popular because it calls, the gang is actually called 9 Trey or whatever. That's when it was started in 1993, and the prison system in Rikers Island, I believe. So when he says, you know, he's not a gang member anymore, then this kind of like helps him. Well, we don't know what else is on the wiretap, and TMZ got this information. So this is all allegedly. We don't know if it's all true, because when do they just give out court documents like this? This is like real, like the DEA, the U.S. Attorney General, and the FBI, Homeland Security. They really want to make a name for themselves. So I don't know if they're going to let any of the big fish, like, you know, Tekashi, Shadi, and the other people that was recently arrested, get away with snitching or try to remove themselves from the situation, because this will be a notch on their belt. This will boost their career, where they can go on and run like their own FBI firm, like in a different city, and they get promotions and they get the notches under their belt. Because if you watch all the documentaries that you see on YouTube and other places, when they talk about the mob, or they talk about, kingpins and drug dealers, Noriega, Capone, all the black drug dealers that was in New York, that was in Queens, and all that other stuff, you got the former cops, you got the FBI so happy in their glory to say, I was a part of bringing this criminal organization down. So I don't know if they're gonna want everybody to serve. So they're gonna want everybody to take a plea deal. Plea deal will be great if everyone takes a plea deal, because now it's straight to victory. And so they say he was never a gang member, and where Jordan says needs to like expose him, basically needs to expose him that he's fake or whatever. And the individual goes, and Jordan got to figure it out, but they got to violate Hernandez. Yep, that's what Jones says. The individual says if Hernandez thinks he's going to be going to strip clubs and that type of shit, like, then Jordan says better get on his A game. So, they're ready to get him. Jones says they're going to be riding that N-word scrap. Jordan don't got nothing to lose no more. So seems like Jones is like, I ain't got nothing to lose no more, because the bag is gone. They let the bag escape. That's why it seems like they were amateurs. They were kids. Like, they didn't know what they were doing. Like, they wasn't even following the script on TV. They wasn't even watching The Wire. They wasn't even what they like, come on, there's a lot of shows that you could have watched, a lot of movies you could have watched to move a lot better than the way that they did. Well, he better get he better get to violating and be better, and he better stalk Hernandez every move. So basically, want Hernandez dead. They want to stalk every move of his. So that situation is just like crazy. I'm just like, like that, like, damn, like The Wire was my shit. Like, why didn't they watch The Wire? Like, you don't watch these documentaries that are on YouTube about criminal organizations back in the 80s, the 70s, the biggest drug dealers ever. Even Frank Lucas, you could have watched him. I think that had Denzel Washington in there, and you have all these Detroit games, these Queens, Brooklyn, how their organization went up from selling crack and committing crimes, and how they got caught. Like, it just seems like, what happened? Like, who was in charge? Like, you always protect the bag. You make sure Tekashi stays clean and all this other stuff. And whatever you do, you just don't go and pull guns on people and shit like that. And always involved in shootings. Whatever you do, you try not to shoot. You try to handle the situation without shooting and out, letting go a gun in New York, because that's time. Like, they could arrest them anytime, but they just waited till they get bigger and bigger, so the FBI can bring them down, get the notches on their belt. And then like 2 years from now, 5 years from now, we'll see FBI on YouTube. They'll be on, TMZ. They'll be on the Breakfast Club talking about how we brung down, the Treyway, 9 Treyway, how we brung down Tekashi69. They just let the shit just roll. And I don't know if Tekashi was even strong enough mentally and physically to say that he didn't want part of this, or he didn't want nothing to do with this, and he just wanted their protection. But in order to get, they're also saying, the FBI is also saying, they got Tekashi participating in a robbery of a rival gang. So like, he has been out here, he's been putting in work, because you like, think about it. You run in the streets, you're about it. You're pulling up on people, you're threatening people, you got guns, people are scared of you, you tough, and everybody on the internet loves you. You get so much love on IG, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Switch. You got DJ Akademiks. You got all these other people with these huge platforms fucking with you, putting you out there everywhere you go. They're recording you. He's meeting up with 50 Cent, all this other stuff. And so that shit goes to your head. Imagine, how can, like, these young dudes couldn't control that shit. They couldn't control the fame and the money, but then they wanted to be street at the same time. It was like a dream. That motherfucking dream's over. They only had a year run. This is why I don't be liking watching, like, when I watch documentaries on, like, the gangs, or like the big drug dealers, the kingpins that, that was back in the day. You'd be like, damn, some of them get Rick Ross, he got a long run. A lot of them don't have a long run, but they at least get like 5 years. Tekashi only had a year run with this shit. And then Shadi and his people, they've been watching him since 2012, 2013. So they didn't really have that long of a run with the shit. I'm like, damn. They messed up. They fucked up. They messed up. Like they were so caught up in all the hype. Like they were so caught up. Okay. Hey, I have a question and I am looking for an honest opinion. Please, I am a predominantly Hispanic guy. My parents are racist towards black people, but I am dating a black girl. Advice? Um, Date the black girl. Do what you're gonna do, because you don't know if you're gonna marry this black girl. You don't know if you're gonna be together, or you can try to show your family members. You can try to show your family members that she's actually a decent black girl. She's not like whatever negative stereotype they have of African American women. You can say that she's different. She does this. She does that. And also maybe if she has a good family background too as well, bring that up if she goes to school. And also stay responsible. Don't disrespect your parents. Show them that, being in this relationship with this young woman has not changed you. And don't show negative behaviors. Don't change. Don't be rude towards them. Be respectful. And, and do better too as well. Like any goals that you have to do it. And to be like, my girlfriend is supporting me with these goals. But ultimately, you're not going to really change them unless they want to change. And they see that the girl that you're with is actually good for you, and she doesn't have that stereotype that they believe that of African American women. And they probably never even never been friends or know African American women, so they don't understand. So I say keep dating her or whatever, but don't date this girl if ultimately you're going to follow and you're going to do what your parents want you to do. If you think that dishonoring your parents it's too much for you, and you don't want to deal with the situation, or if it's tough and if it's breaking you down, you need to let her go, because then you're going to hurt her if ultimately you're going to follow your parents' footsteps. Because are you a mama's boy? Are you a daddy's boy? Do you live with your parents? Like if you live with your parents, it's going to be difficult. But if you're not ready to deal with the heat of the racism that your parents are going to do towards your girlfriend and you, then you need to let the young lady go, because then at the end she's gonna be hurt, so you have to. So it is fucked up, but life is too short. You should date whoever you want to date and have fun with them, because it all depends on how old are you. Maddie? I know what they think is wrong, and there is no right and anything. It is pretty messed up. If you live with your parents, that's a different thing. If you live with your parents, if you're really serious about this girl, you're going to have to move out your parents' house. And you're going to have to move out. Oh, you're only 16. You're only 16 years old. Well, your parents are not crazy. Like, they're not going to try to kill you or kill her, because you hear these stories about people that date outside their race and they have like really hateful, family members. If your family members are not killers and they're not deranged, I say you're only 16, so you're supposed to honor thy mother and father. So if you was older, I can give you a little bit more better advice, but you're only 16 years old. So did they tell you you can't date her at all? You can't be with her at all? Or are you sneaking around being with her? That's with all racist parents don't want you to date outside your race. Oh, they don't know? Well, then keep it that way. They don't know, keep it that way. But you know what? It's going to ultimately come out, because whatever you do in the dark is going to come out to light. So however much that you're sneaking around with this girl is eventually going to come out. It's eventually going to be exposed. But sometimes it might not be. They might find out after you break up with her. But as long as your family is not going to attack her, like if they see you walking down the street with her or something like that, if your family members are going to come out and attack her, or there's like a threat towards her life, you need to leave her. You need to, break up the situation. But love is love. You never know. She could be your soulmate. Who knows? Just don't get caught. And if your family members are crazy and they carry guns and shit, break up with the girl, because then you don't want nobody in your family going to jail behind some shit. And the only reason why I say this because I have seen so many crazy stories where people will actually kill the other person because they have so much hatred and so much racism in their heart that they do dumb shit like this. That sucks. That sucks for you, but this is an experience for you. Enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not going to last forever. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. Have a good time with it. I feel bad for you. Poor thing. The heart wants what the heart wants. You like 16-year-old. You're like, I've got this bad black female. She looks good. I love her. And then on top of that, you want to be with her even more because your family don't want you with her. And then you're thinking that you're doing something so outrageous. You're doing something on a deal. You're doing something on a sneak tip. It has so much mystery and thrill with it that it pushes you to it even more. So now you have to weigh how much of a thrill and doing and going against your parents are you doing this for too as well, because sneaking around and having a mysterious relationship is all fun and games until somebody get hurt. So be careful out there. Don't get caught. Don't be like Tekashi69. Don't be on the phone talking at home. Don't be walking down the street like that. Like, don't be going to Mexican restaurants and shit. And if you don't have a cell phone and you're talking on your house phone, you better be careful. And if you call her, you better get you a burner phone or something like that, because if your parents pay your cell phone bill, they can dial her number and find out who she is and all that other good stuff. So be careful. The heart wants what the heart wants. So let's get back on to, Tekashi. So Tekashi, where was we at? I forgot what the fuck we was at. So them running around in New York and doing all that other crazy shit. So it's like, who was in control? Who was in charge of the situation? It seems like Shadi had no idea what he was doing. It seems like he was just running from a playbook that was imaginary in his head, because he didn't follow no rules. Talking on the phone, you don't do that. That's wiretap. Transferring money. How are you cleaning this money? Tekashi is the one person that's cleaning the money. Why are you selling guns? Why you got all these guns? Why are you transporting guns back and forth? You're doing this on the phone. You're doing this with your cell phone, when your cell phone has a tracking device, especially when you're on Instagram and you're on all these social media network sites, your locations into as well. And your phone tracks you. And also, I know this guy that one time, he was a criminal or whatever. He was a drug dealer, and he had a Sprint phone, and his Sprint phone was dying or whatever. He was telling me his Sprint phone was dying. He had no more battery left, and he had a lot of more stops to do. He had a lot of more, and he was actually selling weight. So he was telling me, my phone was dying. He was telling me later on that his phone was dying and all this other stuff. He said all of a sudden he looked back at his phone. His phone was fully charged. And this was in 2005. The FBI ended up getting him, but they got him through his phone. They knew all his clients, where he was going, and his phone died. And guess what? They recharged the phone up. So it's really hard to get away with crime when you have a cell phone on you, when you have a car that has a tracking device, when you have a car that has the low jack system. So you really have to think about these things and think about who you're dealing with. So they had an informant, and the informant could have been anybody. It could have been a security, because he hired retired security guards. He hired retired cops and stuff like that. And then on top of that, there could have been somebody that's possibly in their organization that didn't like the shit, because sometimes you could be shooting, you can be wilding, you could be going crazy, just acting up and talking about you want to kill this person, hurt that person. There could be somebody sitting at that table that feels like, yo, this is foul, this is messed up, and feel like you're a dirty ass person, feel like you're a bad person, and then go snitch without even talking to without you even doing anything. And then on top of that, there could have been somebody that's in the circle that is jealous too as well, that was an informant. So I think they have more than one informant, because in my previous videos, like everything that's coming out now, I said this in my past videos without even reading this shit, without reading the stories and listening to anything anybody else said, because this is just how it goes. The criminal justice system never changes. It always stays the same. Only thing that changes with the criminal justice system is the players. The street always stays the same. You always get caught. You always go down. Not everybody, because there's a lot of people out here that don't get caught. But you know why they don't get caught? Because they don't move like the way that they was moving. And then on top of that, you also got to think that, Tekashi 69, a lot of majority of his audience, when he had shows were Caucasian. So now you got these FBI and these cops looking at this dude having having their children probably listening to his music. Okay. Disney, they don't know. I just know they wouldn't be like that. Okay, as long as they're not killers, that's cool. No, because you don't understand. Sometimes people hate in their heart allows them to do shit like that. Thank you. Hope you have a great night. You too. Good luck. Have fun. You're gonna remember this for the rest of your life. In high school, have fun. Just don't get caught. Get a burner phone. I think is the guy that robbed him or the driver that 6ix9ine fired. It could be because they end up getting arrested, and once they got arrested, that's when they started coming out after Tekashi too as well. But I think there was more informants too. More informants. They snitched on the rob. They most likely, when they got bagged, they dropped a dime. But even with that situation, they still had a wiretap, so they still had information about these guys. They was wiretapping and following, Shotty and his head people that was with him since 2012 and 2013. And of course, the people that robbed him, whatever, they might have dropped a dime or they might have not, because they were probably real gang members. Because you heard what Tekashi said when he was on the Breakfast Club. He goes, when I got robbed, usually when a dude gets robbed, when these rappers get robbed, what do you see? They go online, they show the picture. Remember that shit used to be so funny back in the day when somebody used to get, it's not funny, but it was funny when rappers used to get robbed, and then the chain on the necklace would go to every state, and every state people would take pictures with their chains and stuff like that. Then somebody would have to negotiate to get their chain back. But Tekashi said, look at this. You didn't see that. You didn't see my chain get posted all online. You didn't see nobody say that they had it was fake people doing it. But my chains disappeared because this was some real gang shit. So the people, they could have snitched and they could have not snitched. It all depends on how their mind is. Because some people are loyal and they'll do 10 years because they don't want that stigma as being a snitch or being known as a snitch, or their family could be in danger. So, but it's a possibility that they got back for kidnapping, robbery, and all that. That's fat time right there. That's life. That's like life. Kidnapping and robbery, fraud, all that other stuff. And then a home invasion too as well. So you could be right that the people that got picked up actually snitched too as well. I imagine so. Most likely they probably did. But it all depends on how they feel about being a snitch. But it all depends on how you're built, if you got that protection. But it seems like then they also, like, I post a video, and also in my community section I post information. They saying Tekashi got transferred to a different prison that was supposed to be for people that cooperating, or they're witnesses or whatever. And that could just be a move for the FBI to make Tekashi even say whatever they want him to say too as well. Because when he first got locked up and the prison place that he was at, supposedly he got attacked. Supposedly he got jumped or whatever, but it wasn't that bad. But he did get jumped, and because he was in general population. Then they transferred him to a different prison where they put him in protected custody. It's supposed to be people that working for the FBI, but they could be doing that to tarnish his name too as well if he's not snitching, and to make his co-defendants also realize that, oh, he's snitching, he's telling, so maybe you should cut a deal or something like that. So we'll see. But it seems like Shotty is a real hard head for what he said in the court this week when he goes, Troy Way forever. We ain't weak. We don't fold. That's some ignorant shit. And then you got the dude Jones on wiretap talking about I ain't got nothing to lose. So I think that they already know that they got so much information on them. It is what it is. And they might, You never know. They might flip the script and say Tekashi was a part of all this. Tekashi did this because they don't want to see him succeed. They don't want him to make it. And plus, he said, "Fuck Treyway." He don't want to be with them. So they could be they could be snitching too. It's not just Tekashi that could be snitching. Supposedly, Tekashi pleaded not guilty, and he's going to be going before a judge. They're not going to give him bail because they feel like he's safer, locked up. And the reason why I feel like they feel like he's safer now, because he doesn't have the money to pay his security guards, or whatever, whoever these people were, because they said he had 2 bulletproof vans or Jeeps or SUVs, and he owes his security people $100,000, and he doesn't have that. So, and his accounts are frozen. So how is he? So only way Tekashi's able to probably ski out, not even ski out, but get a lot, maybe 5 years or maybe 3 years, if the record label, not the people that he's not shotting them, the record label people come. And I think that they might be considering it. It all depends, because his album is fucking number 1. That shit is number 1 right now. And it's not that bad. There's maybe 4 songs on it that I won't listen to. Maybe 3 songs I won't listen to, and the rest I will. But I probably won't listen to it again, because I don't be listening to that hype music like that. But when I get ready to clean, or like I'm going on a mission, and I probably throw on that Tekashi music. But I got a lot of other music to throw on too. But this shit is number 1. So the record label might think that, damn, this is a good investment to get him out, if there's any way we can get him out. So we don't know who's working behind the scenes, even though his money is, is frozen. I think it is okay. Hi, how you doing, home cook? So I don't know. This shit's crazy. Like, damn, it could be so many different things going on. Shotty them can snitch too as well, or they could probably say, "I ain't got nothing to live for, so I'm gonna do all this time." And then you have the record label, that's distributing the music too as well, and he had to release his music because someone dropped his album early. So possibly, it's doing number 1. And let's say if it do number 1 in 2 weeks, if it's number 1 for 2 weeks, number 1 for 3 weeks, maybe the record label is actually thinking about doing something else, or probably helping him with his defense, and see if there's a chance for him to actually get out. So his situation is different than Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda had a lot going on. It's almost like the same thing. He had a lot going on. There was a lot of murder involved. With Tekashi's case, it's not murder. There's guns and drugs and stuff like that. But also people did snitch with, Bobby Shmurda. And his record label totally didn't believe in him. Like, they just like, oh, he only got 1 hot song. But you got Tekashi that got this whole year of just promoting himself, doing like what, 10 million on The Breakfast Club. His IG follows, his Twitter follows, every story about Tekashi. TMZ stay posting Tekashi before he got arrested. So the record label could actually be thinking about helping him out with his legal fees, or they could be helping him out with his legal fees. And his mother needs to be protected. And his baby's mother and these other 2 girls are saying that they are pregnant by Tekashi. A lot of females want to get pregnant by these rappers because they think that they got money. They can just, I can live on the clout and all this other stuff and all that other bullshit. Look at it now. Now this is the downfall of being married to having baby by a rapper and a guy that's in the streets, because now he need that living, that especially Tekashi's first baby's mother, that living. She will brag on, fucking IG, just brag about her money. What's she gonna do now? We're gonna start looking. She gonna fade out. She's not even protected. She's out here naked. Some people saying that, she hasn't been posting to IG. I haven't checked. People saying that she's not around. I don't know. Some people say that Tekashi's mother and baby's mother in witness protection. They're in witness protection. I don't know if that's true. That's allegedly, because the FBI is not going to tell us, or the U.S. attorney is not going to tell us, or the DA is not going to tell us if he's in witness protection. If he's in witness protection, we won't know. Only people that will know is the people that are in the prison, wherever the prison that Tekashi is actually locked up in. the people there can send out information that Tekashi's here. You know what I mean? And that there from there, you know that he's locked up, because sometimes they transfer you, just like with Sammy the Bull. He was, a mob, the underboss of the Gambino family. And when he became a witness, his family got picked up, and he got picked up. I mean, and they took him out of the prison, and boom, shipped him to, one of them places, Arkansas, Missouri, Arizona. He went to Arizona, and he killed 19 people. And since he was going to be ratting on a whole load shit of people, he got into witness protection. It took them a while to figure it out. And so I don't know. Like, we don't know if Tekashi's actually locked up, he's actually in a prison or anything like that. So we don't know if he's in witness protection. We don't know. Some people are saying that. Some people are saying his mom got to get a job. So if people are saying that his mom got to get a job because there's no money, then that means that she's not in witness protection. Because once you're in witness protection, they give you a whole new identity. They give you a couple of grand, and they give you a job. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. Hey, hi, sweetie. It's good to see you too. Truth Seeker, hey, it's good to see you too. I haven't seen you in a minute. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I got my afro. It would be much, 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 much bigger. But it's hot in here. I got all these lights and shit. And so it shrinks and it shrinks and it shrinks. Yo, we're talking about Tekashi. So Tekashi69 situation is out there. So I don't know if I covered everything on him, but then we'll move on to the situation with Tekashi69, supposedly with the Fashion Nova situation. So what went down with the Fashion Nova situation, where, Nicki Minaj is, when Tekashi was going to do that music video out in Beverly Hills with, Kanye West, and Nicki Minaj is supposed to shoot the video, but the lyrics are the first beginning of the lyrics of the song. Damn, it's in my other video. It was supposed to be, Fashion Nova and not Apple Bottom. And I guess when he sent the information over to Nicki Minaj and Kanye West, they changed and put Apple Bottom. I was like, yo, when the last time you heard about Apple Bottoms? Nelly owns Apple Bottoms. At least they gave Nelly a shout out or whatever, because Nelly is the owner of Apple Bottoms. But who the fuck wears Apple Bottoms today? Have you seen anybody talk? I got an Apple Bottom jacket in the basement. I think it's an Apple Bottom jacket. It was a fat jacket too at the time. So the first lyrics of the song was supposed to have Fashion Nova in the line. Tekashi was supposed to say that. And what happened is, I guess when he sent the verse back to Nicki Minaj and he sent it back to Kanye West or whatever, it was changed, and they put Apple Bottom instead of Fashion Nova. And then Fashion Nova was like, okay, that's all right. As long in the video, when you're making this video in Beverly Hills, you put Fashion Nova in one of the scenes, so we're cool. And they gave Tekashi69 100 grand up front. They gave Tekashi69 100 grand up front. And so they were supposed to put the Fashion Nova logo inside the video, like when they're dancing at the club, even though he didn't say the Fashion Nova, he didn't say that line, Fashion Nova. They took out Fashion Nova and put Apple Bottoms in. And who wears Apple Bottoms again? So, but good to you, Nelly. Nelly, you got some shout outs. Maybe the young kids will start wearing some Apple Bottoms, and it'll increase your wealth for you and your kids. So we have that situation. So what happened was, we all know the video shoot got shot up. The video shoot got shot up. And so once the video shoot had got shot up, they didn't continue. They didn't do the video. So Fashion Nova is basically out of 100 grand. And basically people are trying to say that Nicki Minaj actually stopped, Tekashi from getting his bag. Tekashi actually got his bag. He got the 100 grand. He got it up front. So basically, Fashion Nova is going to have to get in line with the security guard, with the booking company, the booking agency, and all these other people that Tekashi owe money to. So Nicki Minaj didn't actually take his bag, but basically she didn't want Fashion Nova to be mentioned in the song that she was going to be on, or in the video. I think it was going to be in the video, but the video never got made because of the shooting. So therefore, people are saying Nicki stopped, Tekashi bag, which didn't happen. And Nicki Minaj knows that Cardi B is actually doing Fashion Nova, and Cardi B has actually sold out when she first put her line out. It sold out the first day. Now she has another line coming out. And so Nicki didn't want, you know, anything with Fashion Nova to be anywhere in her perimeter, anywhere in her sights or around her. So Nicki, of course, Nicki was hating. And Tekashi69 feel like, Nicki is giving me shine, she's giving me clout, she's doing a song with me and Kanye West. You probably convinced Kanye West to do the thing. And Nicki's always giving him promotion, especially on Nicki Radio, on Queen Radio. And then on top of that, she's also then on top of that, she's also, promoting him, and she does songs with him, and she does great songs with Tekashi. So he was like, you know what, I already got the 100 grand. I'm more loyal to Nicki than anybody. So he didn't care. And he got a song with Kanye West and Nicki. And he was like, whatever. Excuse me. So that's how that situation went down. Yes, Nicki was hating. We also know that Nicki took shots at Cardi B on one of the songs, and Cardi B responded, so I did a video about that. So that's in another that's in my playlist. So you'll see female hip hop on in my playlist. So that's the situation with what's going on. So Tekashi's going to be locked up. He's going to be behind bars. There's like a 50-50 chance. It all depends on what information that they got, who's actually the informant, because the informant could actually possibly, if Tekashi is saying that he wasn't part of none of the criminal activity or he didn't know anything that was going on, and if the informant, confirms his story, that's a different thing too as well. But I don't think it's like that. But the FBI, when someone put a hit out on you, they have to bring you in. So they probably wasn't going to bring Tekashi in for a long time, but he only had a year run with this bullshit. Only a year run. A year. Imagine what Shadi could have did. Like, imagine. And then we have, Casanova, basically blaming Akademiks for, Tekashi's downfall, that Akademiks is a snitch, Akademiks is this, but, Casanova is not counting that he was on Pull Up talking about, Tekashi and Treyway with Joe Buttons, with Mano, and Joe Buttons was a part of that situation, and having all that energy there on his show when he says he don't want to talk about street shit, violent shit. And then a couple of days later, Casanova gets shot at the Barcade Center. So you just can't put all the blame on, Akademiks. And plus, when that recording came out of allegedly, Tekashi ordering a hit, TMZ had it. Other big net blog sites had the information, then Akademiks dropped his information too as well, because it's like if they're dropping this information, it looks weird for Akademiks not to drop any information too as well. And plus, he's been dropping information about Tekashi, whether it's good or bad. But the only thing about Akademiks that, sometimes, like, even the person's your friend now, like, this is not really business. He is your friend too as well, but it is business. And their relationship is friendly and business too as well. But he couldn't hold back because that the gratification, having the first story, not the first story, but knowing the information, knowing more information, having a little bit extra to the story, and sitting on that is too much, because you got to think about just him throwing out information all the time is what got him big. And, sometimes it's hard to separate, humanity from when you are in the entertainment business and you actually got to talk about some dirty shit. You actually got to talk about somebody dirty, or you got to talk about a crazy story about somebody. So that is what it is. So I don't know. I guess that's it, what I wanted to talk about with Tekashi. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you want to add on to the story, or there's anything else you want to talk about. Like, there's a lot of shit that's going on that is just crazy. I guess they lit the tree in Rockefeller. Christmas lights on. All them people out there in that cold. They got them kids out there in that cold looking at the goddamn Christmas trees. They wilding. So that's pretty much it, my peeps, my peoples. I'm going to be signing off. One love to all you guys. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for commenting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Unless there's any more questions, That'll be it. I should have put the phone number in to have people call in. Why didn't I do that? The next time I go live, we'll do phone calls. I totally forgot to put the number in. Peace and my one love to each and all my peeps and my peoples. Be safe. If you're committing crimes, please make your cell phone disappear.